I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. I got love, peace, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
Hello and welcome back to my channel, Fanfic Fantasy. Join us as we delve into the realms of fanfiction and fantasy, bringing you the best stories and discussions. Today, we're kicking off the first part of our series, What If Tanjiro Became Overpowered Demon King? If you enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content in the future. The author of this story is KnyNovel from Wattpad. All the relevant links are in the description. Feel free to say hello to the author on their profile. Now, let's dive into the fanfic. Chapter 1, The End of a New Beginning. In a fierce battle with the demon progenitor that started it all, the hunter forces are decreasing in number. On the front line are the ones known as the Hashiras fought the demon head-on. Why are you so persistent? Just die already, the demon said. Like hell we would. In the fierce battle, the Hashiras seems to be using some sort of technique to hide their presence whilst attacking their prey. From afar, a fellow demon slayer is peeking from the side of the building, admiring the speed and intensity of the battle. Wow, look at them. I can just barely see their movement. Let's hope we will win this fight. Boom. A sudden shockwave surges the area and nearly knocked them off their feet. To their surprise, everyone who was fighting just vanished. They look to the building right next to them and see a guy with a giant spike chain ball and axe buried inside the wall. The truth is, the shockwaves had sent them flying into the building. Some had lost their limbs and some had no strength left in them. And then, there was a girl with a purple butterfly hairpin sitting in front of the demon. Come on, get up, move. He's right there, she thought. The man stayed silent as he approached her. She was frozen stiff and someone yelled at for him to stop. The man was already raised his hand to kill this weak girl in front of him, until, in a Kami Kagura, beneficent radiance, the air turns red and yellow and the man's arm was cut off. A knight in shining armor had came to rescue the girl from her imminent doom. She was carried to a support hunter codenamed as a Kakashi. Please, take care of her. Tanjiro, Tanjiro, the girl muttered. I'm sorry I'm late. Take care of her, he said. Hi. The Kakashi looked at him with shocked. The boy stands up to meet his foe. The demonic man looked at him in disgust as the boy's face had a tumor grown covering half his face. You look positively awful, Tanjiro Kamado. This way, it's hard to tell which one of us is the real monster, the man said in disdain. Let's end this, Musen, Tanjiro said in anger. The young boy and the hundreds-year-old man begins to fight violently, each exchanging attacks and counter-attacks. But it doesn't take long for the fallen one to recover and rejoin this fierce battle. One by one, each fought to stall for time until dawn arrives. 1 minute left until dawn. Sunflower Lance, Tanjiro yelled. This child, he never give up. Musen thought. It's dawn. Keep holding him here. As the sun is peaking on the horizon, Musen unleashed a screaming shockwaves attack to push them back. Tanjiro did not lose grip even though he lost one of his arm. He fought to keep the man in place to burn him to death. Musen had no choice left. He grown a flesh armor around his body, swallowing up Tanjiro as well. As he was fighting them, inside, he was staring at the boy. Maybe he was right. A thought is indestructible as it is. Maybe this child can survive. Musen sticks some needles into the boy's neck and inject him with some of his blood. If you survive, Kamado Tanjiro, you will become invincible. You will carry out my thoughts and will destroy the demon slayer in my stead. Just before his flesh armor had burned all the way, he throws the boy's lifeless body into the rapidly flowing river. This is not the end. A new demon will come. Sooner or later, you will be destroyed, he yelled out. Not long after, the man is no more than dust floating through the air. The hunters celebrate their victory, but some immediately went to search for the missing boy. They dived into the deep river, but his body was never found. They mourn over the losses they had, and especially to those who had a deep connection with Tanjiro. Zenitsu, Tanjiro, where is Tanjiro? Kakashi, we can't find his body. He's probably gone now. Inosuke, liars. He's still alive. Kanao, Tanjiro. No, please not him. Jiyu, Tanjiro, he was one of the bravest and courageous hunter. He is also one of the most kindest person, he cried. Then, a small figure of a girl wearing a pink kimono running towards them. Nezuko, Onii-chan. Zenitsu, Nezuko-chan. Tanjiro, he didn't. Nezuko, no. Where is he? He can't be dead. He's in there. Jiyu, calm down Nezuko. He's gone now. Nezuko knew. It can't be true. Kanao, Tanjiro. Everybody sat down feeling defeated for the loss of their most precious friend and brother. No bodies were found, not even a shred of clothes. But underneath the riverbed, something was moving, struggling, and were moving very fast with the rapid river current. What was it? Nobody knows. Chapter 2, Who Am I? A year had passed since the final battle. But the world is not at peace yet. When you think eliminating the progenitor of the demons, all other demons would cease to exist as well. But no, there are still hundreds thousands of them roaming around freely devouring people's flesh and blood. And so, the corp is still here to stay and sworn to wipe out every last demon off the face of the earth. Since the old generation Hashira are now gone, a new generation came to replace them, taking the same responsibility to protect civilians from harms. And it seems to be fitting as the corp has a new leader replacing the previous leader, Yubayashiki Kagaya. His son, Yubayashiki Kirya, may look like a child, but the mind inside is already mature like a wise 50-years-old man. Kirya, hello my fellow hunters. All, greetings, Kirya-sama, they said in unison. Kirya, I see everyone is here today. Good. After the final battle, only 2 Hashira survived. Tomioka Jiu and Shinazugawa Sanmi. Both have retired from the corp as their body are no longer in their prime. It took nearly 2 months for the new generation to fill in the missing spots. Agatsuma Zenitsu Thunder Hashira, Hashabira Inosuke Beast Hashira, Tsuyuri Kanao Flower Hashira, Kanzaki AI Water Hashira, Shinazugawa Genya Elite Marksman, Kamado Nezuko Fire Hashira. After her brother's death, Nezuko decided to train with the former water Hashira, Yurikodaki Sakonji, who also had trained her brother in the past. She later learned the fire-breathing technique and surged up the rank in just under 2 months. Kirya, well, as you all know, today is the exact day when the final battle had happened a year ago. Zenitsu, it's already been a year, huh? Genya, time passes by quickly these days. Kirya, and as such of today, let us pray for the fallen comrade who fought with their life a year ago. A moment of silence ensues and it went on for quite a bit. Inosuke, is there a reason for us to gather here today? Kirya, yes, thank you for reminding me, Beast Hashira. Today I would like to announce a new ally forces joining us in this effort to exterminate demons. AI, an organization is teaming up with us now. Kirya, yes, precisely. Can you guess which one? Kanao, it's the government, isn't it? The girl with a purple butterfly hairpin tied her hair into a ponytail spoke in a monotone voice. After the death of her beloved sister and the death of her lover, she seemingly reverted back into her emotionless self. She wore a butterfly pattern haori recreated by the same tailor who made her sister's haori. Her sharp senses has always amazes the other corp member and it even sometimes scares them. Kirya, precisely. After the battle had finished, the government had contacted us regarding on partnership. After a year of negotiating with the higher-up, we finally had an agreement. Tomorrow, the corp name will be heard and we no longer have to work in the shadows. Nezuko, that sounds like great news. Kirya, indeed it is. The government are willing to help us with resources and our finances. We have control over the police so we don't have to hide anymore. And so today we are handing out a special ID card that is special to us Demon Slayer only. Genya, ID card. AI, can't people forge these cards and play fake? Kirya, oh no, these ID cards are special. If you hold it, it will change its color to match with your Nichiren blade. It will be hard to recreate this. There is however a limit. If you misuse these cards, you will be kicked out of the corp or sentenced to jail. Harshest penalty is death. Nezuko, oh my. Zenitsu, sounds scary. Kirya, but rest assured, as long as you don't misuse it, then you'll be fine. After the Hashiras receive their individualized ID card, the main estate is flooded with hunters taking turns to receive their ID cards. Even the Kakashis gets one as they plays a crucial parts in the corp. From morning till dawn, everyone finally got their ID card and the very next day, the corp was announced as one of the official working organization for the government. The news spread all around cities and town and even distant villages. The corp is now officially recognized by the government. A figure in particular was astonished as he heard the news about it. The figure just simply walked along among the crowds chattering about the news. He simply let out a smile and looked up into the clear blue sky. Sound like they're doing great right now, the figure said in his mind. The man is wearing a recognizable checker pattern green and black haori with a standard uniform, all underneath a cloak covering his body down to his ankle. He always wore the hoodie on and covered his face in a blue-colored scarf wrapped around his face. His eyes are crimson red with a slitted iris similar to a cat. He walks towards a house and entered it. I'm back, he says. Welcome back. Any news? A woman asked. Can't say, but the corp is now officially recognized by the government. He replied. Even the government gets involved now. Unbelievable. The young man stated. Now Yushiro. It was probably for the best. The woman reconciled the young man. Oh, and here is your ingredient, Tameo-san. He handed a bag to the woman. Thank you, Tanjiro-san. Now I can continue my work. The man's name was Tanjiro. He was alive this whole time. When he was deep inside the river, He was fighting over for control against Muzan, and somehow he won by his sheer and utter strong will. He's alive, but at a cost of his own humanity. Tanjiro's POV. A year ago, I thought I had died. Then somehow, I met him taking over my body. I fought him to regain control and I somehow won. Against all odds, but there was a price. I had become a demon. When I was washed away by the rapid current, I had been washed to the end of the river. It was sunny out at the time, but I didn't feel pain. My body isn't burning up. That's when I realized I was invincible to the sun. I sat there for days trying to find out who I was. And then I found Tamao-san. Her cells are mixed up with mine, and when I recalled her back, she was surprised to see me. I soon found Yushiro-san in an empty house painting some pictures of her. He was also surprised by my appearance and thought that I was a ghost. But indeed, I'm not. I'm a demon who is invincible against the sun and death itself. The thought of coming home to them was there, but I'm afraid they can't face the fact who I was now. I managed to reconstruct Tamao-san using all her cells inside my body. Slowly, my memories returns and I can remember all of it. My name was Kamado Tanjiro, and I'm a demon. I became the creature I hate the most. But unlike other demons, I can eat normal human food and still get the same nutrition as a demon would. That was a relief. But I had to ask Tamao-san for her help to turn me back to human, and in return, I'll do anything for her. She agreed, but it will take her some time to create the antidote. For now, I have to blend in and help the corp from way down under, beneath their radar, and hope that I can return to being human again. And one day, I can return to everyone I left behind a year ago. Chapter 3, A Gift. It was the day before Kanao's birthday. Everyone had gathered at the butterfly estate to set up a surprise party. But since Kanao had become emotionless, she was always out on a mission, regardless if it's just patrolling an area or slaying a demon. They anticipated for her to return by tomorrow morning since she always worked till the morning. They know she missed Tanjiro so much. Losing her one and only other family member meant she had only him. They tried to cheer her up, but it was no use. She's back to being her old self, a pretty shell on the facade but empty on the inside. But one thing do stick, and that is she can decide on her own, thanks to Tanjiro teaching her to follow her heart. As times goes by, two hunters are on a mission to scout for a demon in a forest far up north. A black-haired man named Murata and a fellow corp member. Corp member, man, why do we always has these kinds of jobs? Murata, you need to shut up. Focus on the mission. Corp member, yeah right. It's not like a demon would strike here in the middle of nowhere. Murata, you're probably right. But who knows? Maybe they would. Murata, maybe we should head back. What do you say? Hey, where did you go? Just as they were only 5 minutes into the job, Murata had already lost his comrade. He unsheathed his sword and are on high alert. He heard a crunching sound afterward, sound of bones being crushed. He looked for the source and found a demon eating off his dead comrade. Murata, no way. You bastard. Demon, oh, another one for me. How lucky I must be. Murata, you will pay for this. Demon, don't be shy. Come here. Murata, what the? My body. I can't control it. He thought. Demon, come and you'll be next. Just as Murata was about to be slashed by the demon, a shadow appears before him and freed him from the demon's influences. He was surprised by the sight of a familiar green and black checker pattern Haori. It can't be. Even in the dark he can clearly see it. The face of a man who saved humanity not long ago. Murata, Tanjiro. Demon, who are you? Don't you know it's rude to steal others' property? Tanjiro, oh I'm sorry, but humans are off the menu. In an instant, the demon head was on the floor disintegrating along with the body. Murata is still in awe looking at the person they thought they had lost standing right in front of him. He was speechless and shocked to see him. Tanjiro looked back at his comrade who are still sitting on the ground with a wide eye. Tanjiro, are you okay? Murata, Tanjiro, it's really you right? Or have you gone the past year? Tanjiro, I can't explain it to you. Murata, why? At that moment Murata noticed the pupils in his eyes are slitted. That was usually a sign of a demon. Murata, no, are you a demon? Tanjiro, listen. Nobody must know that I'm still alive. Murata, but why? Why do you hide from us? Tanjiro, I believe none of you will accept me as is. Murata, nonsense. Do you have any idea how sad everyone are when we thought we've lost you? Tanjiro, I'm sorry, but until I turn back into human, I can't go back. Murata, but, Tanjiro, Murata-san. Please, promise me you don't tell anyone about this. Murata, will I ever see you again? Tanjiro, of course you will. Owen, what date is it today? Murata, May 18th. Tanjiro, of course. Tomorrow is Kanao's birthday. Murata, how do you know? Tanjiro, here Murata-san. Can you please give this to her? Tanjiro took off his Haori and gave it to Murata. His hand are shaking as he received one of the most priceless thing from Tanjiro. He almost break into tears. Tanjiro, Murata-san. Murata, yes, Tanjiro. I will give it to her. Tanjiro, good to hear that. Murata, but what should I? As Murata turns around, Tanjiro was already gone. He's no longer by his side. He's only left with the Haori his old friend entrusted to him. After a few minutes passes, he grit his teeth and got up. He walks back towards the direction of a town nearby to get some rest. It was dawn and Kanao was just about to return to the mansion when she spotted some red substance on the fence gate. She immediately withdrew her blade and took a stance. She approached the gate slowly and burst it open. Then confetti flew into her face so suddenly that it almost made her stumble over a rock on the ground. Surprise! Everyone shouted in unison. Everybody who knew Kanao is here, including some former Hashira like Jiu, Seinmi and Yuzui with his 3 wives along with some random corp member attending to the party. Kanao stood there still processing what is happening. Then, it hits her. Today was May 19th, her own birthday. She was so preoccupied doing her mission that she forgot about her own birthday. Happy birthday, Kanao-san. A boy with scar on his face said. Is there something wrong, Kanao? The girl with 2 blue butterfly hairpin asked. No, I'm fine. It's just, even I forgot about my own birthday. She replied. Awa, don't be. We all remembered it for you. A yellow-haired boy said. Now who's ready for some flamboyant cake? Shouted Yuzui. Everybody said I at the same time. And so they spend the whole morning celebrating Kanao's birthday. It's been so long since she last felt this kind of warmth. The people of the mansion is like a family to her. She remembered that. Both her sisters thought her that. How would she forget? When Kanao was deep in thought, she was dragged onto a chair and sat down on it. Ai, alright everybody. It's time for the gifts. Inasuke, alright. Everybody lined up in front of her taking turn giving present to her. Some gave her some new hairpins. Some gave her a really shiny acorn that was glimmering with light. And some even handed her some new clothing even though she may not wear it. But for polite sake, she kept it anyways. Ai, alright. Looks like that's all of them. Time to. Suddenly, the gate burst open revealing a black-haired male looking out of breath. He must have come from far away, they thought. In his hand are a neatly wrapped package with a bow on top. Jiu, Murata, what are you doing here? Genya, whoa, take it easy buddy. Murata, I have something important to give. He approached the birthday girl literally shaking as if he was in distress. He kneeled down both knees in front of her and everyone was surprised by the man's sudden gesture. Yuzui, is this some kind of a hand in marriage or something? Nezuko, Murata-san, why are you crying? Murata, Kanao-sama, this thing, I have found it during one of my mission. I was hesitating whether or not I should keep it. Now that I realized, you may need it more than I do. Kanao was speechless looking at the package inside the man's hands. She took it slowly and he stepped back sitting on a bench crying. All attention went to Kanao as they are curious what he was talking about. She carefully pulled on the ribbon and the package opened up a little. In an instant, she recognizes the color and opened it more harshly. There was the recognizable green and black checker patterned haori that was once worn by someone she loved. Everybody's eyes was wide open looking at the piece of clothing in disbelief. It was even in perfect condition with no tears or holes. Everybody let out a tear reminiscing their long-lost friend. Some of them immediately became curious and turned over to the man that gave it to her. Inasuke, where did you find this? Murata, I found it while I was on a mission. Genya, where was that? Murata, I don't remember. It was so fuzzy back then. Zenitsu, don't lie to us. His body must have been there. Just tell us where it is. Murata, there is no body, okay? There isn't one. Nezuko, stop. The 4 of them stopped arguing as the girl with a pink ribbon tied onto her hair yelled. They were surprised by this and everyone went silent. Nezuko, don't torture a man who's already been tortured. My brother wouldn't want to see us fight, right? Ai, that's right. We're all here to celebrate Kanao's birthday. If you want to fight then please leave. Kanao, Tanjiro, where are you? As the fight settled down, the female tried to console Kanao while she was hugging the haori as tightly as she could. While the male just stayed silent looking at each other thinking, is this what he wanted to see? Fighting for a piece of cloth. They just stood there baffled by the statement. After a while, everyone excused themselves and left the party. Kanao was left alone in her room hugging the piece of cloth well through the evening into the night. Ai, Kanao. Kanao, come in. Ai, Kanao. You still haven't changed your clothes. Kanao, I just don't want to let go. Ai, I know how much this haori meant for you, but you have to face the facts that Kanao, he's not dead. Ai was surprised by the sudden behavior that she remained silent for a while. Then, she continued. Ai, alright, let's say that he's still out there. Why wouldn't he came back to us? Kanao, he must have his reasons. I believe that he's still out there. AI, well, if he comes back, he probably wouldn't want to be with a smelly person like you, especially with his super sense of smell. She teased. Kanao, don't say it like that. AI, if you want him to remotely come close to you, maybe you should take care of yourselves first. Kanao, alright fine. I'll go take a bath now. AI, good. Don't forget your dinner. Kanao, thanks AI. AI, don't mention it. After a convincing and cunning persuasion from AI, Kanao had no choice but to go and take a bath. She went to the open hot spring where men and women shares the same pond. The only thing that was separating both halves are a high multi-layer bamboo wall. It was specifically designed to be hole-proof. She took off her clothes and dived into the hot spring. The smell of sulfur filled the air and the temperature of the water was just at the right level. It was said that the water has the power to drain all the pain and fatigue away from the body. She let her mind rest and probably had dozed off into the night. Kanao, a voice suddenly calls out her name. She immediately woke up and looked around. To her disappointment, it was maybe herself dreaming. She got up and get dressed in a white robe. She went to the kitchen for her dinner. A tray was set out for her to take. She ate her dinner and went straight to her room. She lays down on her futon and slept while hugging the Haori of the person very dear to her. You're so beautiful when asleep. I miss you so much, Kanao. A man is standing on the door staring at the girl face while hugging his present for her birthday. He can't take a step further or she will notice him. Maybe, when the time comes, I will be back for you. Farewell, Kanao. Till my next visit for you. The girl suddenly woke up after hearing voices. She quickly went out the door and looked around. She was certain this time she wasn't dreaming. But nobody was in sight. Not even a trace left behind. It was like she was chasing a ghost. Maybe it's just her imagination. She reluctantly closed the door again and lay back down on the futon and went to sleep. Unbeknownst to her, the man she was searching for was just above her head on the rooftop. Cutting it too close there. Maybe I should be more careful next time, he thought. This time, he left the mansion and went back to the house where he lived with two other demons. Good demons. I'm back. Welcome back, Tanjiro. How was your visit? The woman asked. Here's some more ingredient, Tameo-san. Tanjiro said. Did something happen? Tameo asked with a smirk. Have you met her or not? The young man interrupted. Yes, Yushiro-san. I did. Happy now? Tanjiro feeling annoyed. Yes, very much, Tanjiro. Both teasing him. Both Tameo and Yushiro enjoys teasing Tanjiro sometimes. They know how much he loved Kanao but aren't able to even convey it to her yet. He was so much in love that he visited her first before his own sister, Nezuko, who had turned back into human. But sometimes Tanjiro really likes to freak them out by doing simple chores like washing the dishes and clothing and cooking all at the same time with his ability to grow tentacle from his back. He was restricted on doing chores but he did it anyways because of his truly kind nature. Whenever he saw some problem or chores he will do it all. This Tameo is a demon who have worked for Muzan in the past. But ever since she escaped his curse, she devoted to saving normal human lives with medicine. Yushiro is one of them. When she was treating him, he was terminally ill with no cure. She gave him an option for him to live on but at the cost losing his humanity. Ever since he became a demon, he became her loyal servant for the rest of his lives, in which in demon term would mean until death pull them apart. Tameo creates medicine that worked on humans but also she can create drugs that worked on demons as well. She also can create the antidote to turn Tanjiro back into human. But in order to do that without destroying his cells, she needs a large quantities of the red spider lilies to extract and concentrate its dosage. And that's what Tanjiro had been doing for the past year. He had been around Japan collecting all the ingredient that she needed to turn him back. And since he is immune to the sun, he can interact with other people as a traveler. Even though the sun can't hurt him, he still wore a white cloak with a hood that covers him from top to slightly above his ankle. Underneath it, he wore his Demon Slayer uniform that he fixed up himself since he can't exactly go and get it fixed if he was dead. He carries around the Nichiren blade that helped him defeat Muzan and it was surprisingly still in a good shape even after the intense battle. He also wore a blue scarf wrapped around his face to conceal his identity. It was a constant struggle for him to lay low from the hunters even though he was on their side because he is still a demon. But he manages to avoid most of them and even manages to spy on the corp without being noticed, although there is some close calls. He really do have hope that when this is all finally over, he can go back to his friends and family and particularly the person he loves so much. He wanted to confess after they defeated Muzan but due to these circumstances, he can't do it. Not until the antidote is ready. And when it is, he will surely go back to her side and be with her for the rest of his life. But for now, he has to resist and stay low in the shadow of the Demon Slayer Corp. It will be a long road ahead, but he will be sure to tackle whatever comes in his path till he reached his final destination, home. Chapter 4 Nemesis finally got something to show her. Well, what are you waiting for? Knock. No, you knock. I'm not gonna interrupt her. Well, at least help me got him it. Two demons are standing outside a house that is basically a mansion. They both are scared for some reason, and for good reason. While they were arguing, the door in front of them suddenly opened without anyone in it. Come in, a voice echoed. You go first. Why me? You have the intel, not me. TFFT. Coward. They both entered the mansion with much hesitance still within them. The door closed and the dark hallway glow up. They walk past giant test tubes where the subjects are subjected in some sort of an experiment. They reached the end and saw a child figure sitting on a chair working on some experiments. Come on in. Sit down, the child said. All right. Both sat at a couch nearby the child. The child turns around and looked at them. Her appearance was like a 9-year-old child, but her mind is mature 20 years old ahead. She looked at them with a creepy smile on her face. So, do you have anything for me? Why, yes, miss. We do. The demon stuttered. Don't be afraid. And not like my father. Just tell me, what was it? Yes, Haruka-sama. We have heard rumors that the Demon Slayer Corp is now working for the government. Oh, is that so? Haruka said in disappointment. And their number has been increasing lately. Is there anything else? We also heard rumor of a mysterious swordsman slaying our kind. But, he's also said to be a demon. A demon is working for the corp. Don't be ridiculous. Haruka shakes her head. But it's true. It doesn't matter now, is it? Once I have completed my latest creation, then we don't have to worry as much. Creations. Forgive me for asking, Haruka-sama, but what exactly are you doing here? You know my father, right? Kibutsuji-sama. That's right. He lost his life after hundreds of thousand years living. Want to know why he lost? The demons did not respond. Because he's weak. His goal is only one, and that's to conquer the sun. He doesn't see the bigger picture. But I do. Once I have finished destroying the Demon Slayer Corp, nothing can get in the way and stop it. The child laughed maniacally like an evil mad scientist. The two demons just sat there laughing nervously with her. The child of the demon lord himself. Not as scary, but enough to struck fear to anyone's heart. Soon, they will roam the world and destroy anything in their path. It's time to unleash the beast, she said, looking towards one of her test subjects. I'm going out, Tamio-san. Okay, Tanjiro. Be careful out there. Tanjiro was just getting ready to head out. He wore his cloak and hood over his uniform and a blue scarf covering part of his face. Kamado Tanjiro, the Demon King in disguise. It was just past noon, but the town sure is bustling with activities. It has been only 3 days since the announcement was made, but sure enough there are sights of the hunter forces everywhere. He walked along the streets in the city of Asakusa among the crowds. He stopped in front of a restaurant. Inside was full with happy customers. The smell of spices and blend as well as the broth. It already makes him hungry. He went inside straight to the back where there is a stair leading to the second floor. I'm sorry, sir, but this is strictly for staff only. A waitress flags him down. I'm an old friend of your boss. The name is Kamado Tanjiro. Tanjiro said politely. Oh, please forgive me, Kamado-san. Please go ahead. He's upstairs to the right. The waitress said. Thank you, he replied. Tanjiro POV. It's been quite a while since the last time I've been here. How is he doing, I wonder? I saw the door to the right with the name of the owner bolted to the door. I knocked. Come in, a male voice said. I looked down and twisted the door handle. It swings open, revealing a man sitting on his desk. His eyes widen as he sees me entering the room. Ah, Tanjiro-san. You came, the man said excitedly. It's been a while, Toyo-san. How was the business? I asked. Good, very good. A lot of customers lately. Glad to hear that, I said. Do you want something to eat? He asked me. Sure. Got any recommendation? I thought you would never ask. Sit down and please wait. I sat down in the chair in front of him and he went to his own personal kitchen where he cooked his own sets of noodles. After a few minutes, he came back with a big bowl on one hand and a small one on the other. He sets them down in front of me and man does it smell so good. Here you go, my newest creation. The ultra-spicy chicken curry deluxe, he proudly said. I reached into my pocket to give him some money, but he rejected my offer. Oh no, my friend. It's on house, he said. Are you sure? Cause this is a lot, I worryingly said. Well, you're the one who helped me made all of this possible. All thanks to you I get to open up a restaurant of my own. So be grateful and enjoy the meal. Thank you, Toyo-san. Itadakimashu, I said. I took the chopsticks and ate the noodle as fast as a race car. The old man just sat there slurping his bowl of noodle and we both finished at the same time. He still makes the face of shock just seeing how I ate like there's no tomorrow. That was really delicious, I complimented. Well, of course, because I'm the one who made it. Also, is it okay for you, a demon eating spicy stuff? Oh no, I'm fine. I was thankful that I can eat normal food instead of human's flesh. I'm glad to hear that. So how's your day lately? I'm doing fine. Traveling around ain't so bad, I replied. Are you still hunting for demons? He asked. I can smell that he's worried about me. I replied occasionally, yeah. When are you gonna reveal yourself to the Hunter Corp? I froze upon hearing that question. I still don't know if I should. I can see him looking straight at me. Sooner or later, they will find you. Just hope that it's not you on the receiving ends of their blade. He adds, when the time comes, I will come forth. But for now, I'll live in the shadows. I replied, very well then. End of POV. Suddenly, a loud noise of glass shattering and woman screaming got through the upper floor. Both Tanjiro and the shop owner raced downstairs to see two men wearing the Demon Slayer uniform. One of them is holding an empty bottle of whiskey and both of them are visibly drunk. It would have seemed that they have created chaos in the restaurant. Ahaha, another serving please. Sir, I'm afraid you will have to leave the restaurant. The waitress politely asked. Well, look at you beautiful. Say, why don't you come with us? One of the man drunkenly said. Sir, I'm politely asking for you to leave. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a card that changes color into light blue. He pointed it at the waitress. See this? This means you have to follow my order or serve jail sentence for non-compliance. Do you want that to happen? Let me go. Sir, the waitress panicked. The man grabbed hold of the waitress's arm. Because he's a hunter, his strength was no match against the measly peasants in the restaurants. Just as he was about to claim victory, another hand grabbed his arm holding the woman. It was Tanjiro who intervened into this mess. Hey, what are you doing? He said. I'm gonna have to ask you to let her go. Tanjiro menacingly said. Or what? Don't you know who I am? Yeah, we're from the Demon Slayer Corp. The other man backed up his friend. I have warned you. Let her go. You bastard. I guess your penalty would be death then. The hunter used his other hand to draw out his sword. But before he even got to touch the handle, he felt pain in the stomach and saw himself flying away from the man. The next thing he realizes, he was already thrown outside along with his colleague. And sorry Toyo-san for the mess. Here's some money to compensate for the damage. He apologized. No, don't worry about it. Keep the money. Toyo tried to reject his offer. I insist. Take them. He forced the money on the owner's hands. Because of the pain, the owner of the restaurant just accepted it mainly because his hands have gone numb. Well then, if you'll excuse me, I will take my leave. Tanjiro stepped out the restaurant looking past at the two hunters still groaning in pain on the ground. He was just about to take the first step when suddenly someone called for him. He stopped froze on the spot. Hey you there, a female voice called out. He stopped dead in his track. He recognized that voice. It was none other than Kanao herself. He didn't expect to meet her this soon. He pulled his scarf up to his nose revealing only his eye. Turn around, Kanao ordered. Yes, how may I help you? Tanjiro said calmly. Are you the one who attacked these men? Her voice are as dead as the sea. She is being serious. Technically these two has violated the woman's right, miss. Now if you'll excuse me. Hold on mister. According to the law, in under no circumstances should you attack a member of the corp. Failure to comply will be penalized with death. Tanjiro could tell that she is serious about it. Her dead voice as well as her dense scent filled with anger gave him the chills down his spine. Wrong answer would mean instant decapitation for him. He looked at her in the eyes and gestured for her to look at the waitress. Ask her if you don't believe me, miss. Tanjiro pointed at the waitress. The waitress as well as some customers and kitchen staff nods confirming his claim. But when she looks at the fallen hunter, their facial tells her the opposite, making her believe he had attacked them first despite what the witnesses said. She focused on the hunters more believing that they were telling the truth. Now if you excuse me, I'll take my leave then. Tanjiro turned around preparing to leave. Without warning, a blade came swinging just inches away from his neck. With his quick reflex, he dodged the blade with ease. Kanao stood there stunned to see how the unknown man easily dodged her blade. She pointed her blade towards the man whilst assumed a battle stance. Who are you? She questioned. I'm just a humble traveler passing by this town, he said. Tanjiro can't exactly tell a lie. His face will make a weird expression whenever he lied. But over the year, he managed to control his face and tell a lie with a straight face. The traveler, an average traveler won't be able to react that fast. You're no ordinary person, she stated. What can I say? I've been in many dangerous situations during my travels, including encounters with several demons. You fought demons. I don't buy that story, she said. Encountering demons and fighting demons are two separate things. Tanjiro protests. As Tanjiro kept talking back to her, it made Kanao starting to lose patience. As the atmosphere got a lot more denser with high tension, someone else came to relieve the tension. What's the matter here? A male with long yellow hair spoke. Zenitsu-sama. He attacked us while we were eating, the hunter said, playing as the victim. Zenitsu looked at the hunter and he frowned upon seeing both of them. I know you're lying. I can tell by the telltale sound coming from you. Both the hunter are shocked by his quick deduction. They forgot about his amazing hearing skills to detect lies and emotions. He is truly a Hashira. Zenitsu averted his focus on the two-person on a one-on-one standoff. Kanao-chan, are you alright? He asked. This person is not what he seemed to be. He attacked our colleague. She explained. It's not his fault. These two are lying. He tried to reason with her. But under no circumstances civilians should attack the hunter force. Unless of course if we have evidence that they were the one who attacked first. Then it falls into the category of self-defense act. But it is still wrong. And you want to penalize him with death. Doesn't that sound cruel? Zenitsu approaches the other party and bow down. I apologize for my comrade's behavior, he said. Don't be. I'm just doing what I felt right. Tanjiro replied. But attacking a slayer is still against the law. You should be more careful next time. Zenitsu advised him. I will be more demons. Help, demons. Tanjiro was interrupted by the sudden screams calling out for help. They rushed to the person in distress. What's the matter? Zenitsu questioned. There's a demon down the street, the man shouted. In broad daylight, Kanao said in confusion. You got to help. Many had died back there. The man pleaded. You, give me your sword. Kanao ordered the hunter. He gave his sword to her and she tossed it over to Tanjiro, in which he instinctively caught. You want to redeem yourself. Now is the chance, she said to him. Very well then. All 5 of them, including the 2 drunk hunters from before, ran towards the direction of the demon. It was later they found out there were 2 fat and giant demon roaming under the morning sun. Civilians were seen running away from it, but many have their lives already taken. They waste no time running towards the demons. Zenitsu and Kanao took on one of them while Tanjiro and the other 2 members went to deal the other one. Zenitsu, this is preposterous. Demons now can walk in broad daylight. Kanao, less talk, more fight. Zenitsu, flower breathing, second form, honorable shadow plum. Thunder breathing, first form, thunderclap and flash. The 2 combo attack manages to defeat the demon and its body crumbles into dust. They looked over to see how the other 3 are doing. To their surprise, the unknown traveler has already dealt the problem by himself. The other 2 hunters stood there with their jaw hanging down. Tanjiro's POV. The demon was large but slow. I took the advantage and dodged all of the incoming attacks. It only took me one swing to cut its really wide neck. Thank goodness the sword is still effective against these things. Just before its body was disintegrated, I took a syringe to extract its blood so that later I can give it to Tameo-san to investigate. I put the hunter's sword back into its sheath. I looked at both of them, stunned by my performance. I looked to the other direction and noticed both Kanao and my dear old friend Zenitsu has also defeated the demon. I breathe and sigh of relief. Are you alright? I asked the drunk hunter. What? How did you finish it so fast? He became curious. Well done. It would have seemed that you're not an average person. Kanao praised me. May I ask, why didn't you join the corp? You have the skills to be on top of the ranks. Zenitsu curiously asked. Why, I'm just a humble traveler. I won't be able to travel much if I had to hunt demons, do I? I tried to reason with them. Oh, and here is your sword back. I handed the sword to the hunter. No, you should have it. I don't deserve this. He rejects me. How surprising that is. I insist. Besides, I already have one. I uncover part of the cloak to reveal my sword inside its sheath. But apparently, it caught the attention of both Hashiras and they swing down their swords on me. I immediately pull out both swords and steel meets steel. I hold both swords using the hunter sword and my sword combined. Looks like they are being seriously furious right now. Where did you get that? Zenitsu yelled at me. That sword belongs only to one person in this world. Tell us about the sword or you'll be dead, sir. Kanao threatened me. Even though I'm really strong now, I can feel their blade pushing down on me with great force. I see I have made a big mistake. Bystanders watches us in a standoff where I'm slowly losing. But a voice from the crowd made them ease off a bit. Zenitsu, Kanao, put down your sword. A woman with 2 blue butterfly hairpins said. Not now, Aoi. This person has his sword. Kanao said. And we must know where did he get it from. I mean, look at him. He managed to resist the both of us. Zenitsu adds. It is true though. A normal person would have been dead at this point. Well, how is he gonna tell you if you're both pinning at him? Put down your swords. Sheesh, she protests. After some staring at each other, they finally lowered their weapon and so do I in response. End of POV. AI, good. Now that we're all calm now, tell me what is going on here. Both Kanao and Zenitsu tried to explain what happened to her while Tanjiro was looking off in the horizon thinking an answer for the previous question. A minute later, all attention averted back towards him. I see. May I ask your name, Mr. Tanjiro Kenshin? Takagi Kenshin. Well then, Takagi-san. I'm sorry on the behalf of my colleagues here. Mind do I ask where did you find that sword? Tanjiro, I found this when I was traveling along the river. Zenitsu, I don't get it. A traveler doesn't need a sword, don't they? Tanjiro, considering the fact that I have to defend myself somehow, I chose to pick it up and keep it. Of course now I know that this sword is able to fight off the demons. Kanao, I can still sense something is off with you. Tanjiro, you don't have to trust my word for it. But I really am just a traveler. Kanao, well I have to go now. See you later then, Takagi-san. Don't be causing trouble the next time I see you. Kanao turns around and left the four of them alone. The crowd of bystanders look at her thinking, is she really a hunter? With a beautiful face and great body, it's hard to believe that she's even one of the strongest hunter in the corp. With a beautiful face and great body, it's hard to believe that she's even one of the strongest hunter in the corp. Oops, this image does not follow our content guidelines. To continue publishing, please remove it or upload a different image. Tsuyuri Kanao, the flower Hashira. Well that concludes it then. Zenitsu, you sure are a skilled person. Takagi-san. Are you sure you don't want to join? Tanjiro, who's that? Zenitsu, that's your name wasn't it? Tanjiro, oh right. Yeah, how can I forget? Laughs nervously. Well then, Zenitsu-san. Why don't you go and give the report to Oyakata-sama? Zenitsu, why me exactly? Because you're the one who fought the thing and Kanao had already left. Zenitsu, alright fine. You owe me one. You three will come with me. Corp member A. Tanjiro, does that includes me? Yes. I wanted to talk to you for a bit, and especially to both of you. Don't worry, you're not in big trouble or anything. She gave off a fake smile to the three of them. Tanjiro reluctantly had to go or else he will be in massive trouble. Not to mention the two corp member besides him already looking like the Walking Dead. They follow out of the city to head back to the Butterfly Mansion. It's already way into the evening since they first met. They finally arrived at the Butterfly Mansion where an injured Slayer would be treated here. Ever since the government got involved, the place seems to be more busier than it was back then. The ward is now set up for more advanced injuries and better medical equipment. Even the beds and furniture has been replaced. Tanjiro took it all in remembering back when he would always comes here whenever he was injured. They walked past the ward and through the porch that leads to an open yard where he used to train, running around the fence gate and lifting heavy stones. It triggers a nostalgic feeling for him that he didn't notice that he had stopped. He was already way ahead while one of the hunters stopped and looked at him while he was in trance. The hunter, hey mister, are you coming? Tanjiro, oh yeah. You can go ahead, I'll catch up to you later. The hunter just shrugs and left Tanjiro alone. Tanjiro stepped down on the yard to look around. He sees the well still being used to wash clothing. He even found the 3 big stones he had used with the ropes still hanging off the tree branch. Tanjiro, the good old days. How I've missed them. He continues along the yard and found a building he knew very well. The training dojo where he did the rehabilitation training with his 2 friends. He went up to the door and opened it slowly. Inside was a vast spacious room and in the center of it was a woman sitting down breathing slowly. He quickly turned around to leave her alone but she had already noticed his presence. Kanao, I see you have came, Takagi-san. I expected for us to meet again but not this soon. Tanjiro, it would have seemed to be the case miss. Say, I didn't catch your name. Can I please know your name? Kanao Tsuyuri. Tanjiro, I apologize for interrupting you Tsuyuri-san. Please excuse myself to take my leave now. Kanao, could you kindly wait for a bit? I was surprised by how strong you are back then. May I interest you for a bit of a spar with me? Tanjiro hesitated at first, then he remembers how he missed her. So this might be chance for him. Even for a limited amount of time, is enough for how many more years he have to wait before he could come back to her side. Tanjiro, I see no reason why not. Sure, I'll take you on. Tanjiro stepped inside the dojo as the door closed behind him. She threw over a bakken, a wooden Japanese training sword used for training towards Tanjiro. He caught it and moved towards his opponent for today. He adjusted his hoodie and scarf to make sure they stay still to hide his identity. If she knows who he was, it was game over for him. Kanao, what's the matter, Takagi-san? Afraid of something? Tanjiro, nope. Fear are only subjective. They do not translate into an equation in this match. Kanao, I suggest for you to go all out cause I will do the same. Think you can handle it? Tanjiro, we shall see then who's on top and who's lacking behind. Both of them assumed a battle stance, circling around the center of the room, keeping distance from one another. At one point, they stopped their steps, took a deep breath, and they vanished into thin air. Outside, a few corp member was just passing by when they heard loud sound coming from the training dojo. What was that noise? One of them spoke up. It's probably the beast Hashira fighting against the thunder Hashira. One of them speculated. I wonder how are they fighting? Another one asked curiously. Hey, let's go and see it ourselves. One of them suggested. Is it safe to do that? Concerned by one of them. It will be fine. Just a little peek should do. The member reassured. They all went to the front door entrance and stack on top of each other. They open it just slightly to see the chaotic mess happening inside. The floor has some holes in it and the wall has definitely seen better days. Wooden shrapnel was flying everywhere and they saw something whizzing about in these conditions. They first thought it was a demon's doing, but they later realized it was two-person moving at a very high speed that they appeared to be a blurry shadow. As they were watching, they didn't realize a person was right behind them. AI, what are you all doing here? Corp member, nothing. We're just passing by here, Kanzaki-sama. AI, what are you all looking at? Out of curiosity, AI took a sneak peek inside as well. She saw the chaos and two-person battling each other. She immediately opened up the door and that seemed to have stopped the two from continuing their battle. AI, what are you two doing? Kanao, we were just sparring each other. AI, and you. I've been looking for you. This is where you've disappeared to. Tanjiro, my apology. I was just exploring the area. AI, well since we're here already, why don't we do it here then? Kanao, do what? AI, just some friendly conversation. Tanjiro, very well then. AI, you are all dismissed. Please leave the area. She ordered the group of hunters that was spying earlier to leave. And indeed they comply and left to do their own thing. AI stepped inside the dojo and closed the door behind her. They all sat down at a little coffee table at the corner of the dojo for a little chit-chat. Today he's unusually late. A woman is concerned. Tameo and Yushiro both live in the same house as well as Tanjiro. It was already nighttime but he didn't return like the usual. Usually, just before Tanjiro gone to hunt demons, he would drop on by to rest and give some report. This makes Lady Tameo a bit concerned for his well-being. I'm sure he's gone straight to hunting demons. He should be back by tomorrow. Yushiro trying to console her. But he was never this late, even when he had to fight. I wonder what had happened to him. Alright then, if I go out to look for him, will it make you feel better than Tameo-sama? He proposed. I guess so. But be careful though. Hunters are pretty much everywhere these days. She warned him. I have my cloaking technique, so it's gonna be fine. Yushiro took out a piece of paper that has a symbol of an eye on it. He activates it before he got out of the house. He got out and immediately found some hunters nearby. He headed to the opposite direction and started his search, hoping he's somewhere still in the city of Asakusa. Not long after he started to search him, he picked up a really pungent scent that pierced through his nose. A smell that all demons hate. Wisteria flower. But there was no wisteria nearby him. He followed the scent and found some liquid on the ground. It looks like someone vomited here. He followed the trail of clues left behind and soon enough, it pays off. Yushiro, Tanjiro. Is that you? Tanjiro, Yushiro-san. What are you doing here? Yushiro, to pick you up, you imbecile. Now here, put this on. Tanjiro, I don't need it. Yushiro, if you want to be discovered then fine. Tanjiro, I just need Hugh. He vomited again. Yushiro, imbecile. Finally, Tanjiro gave up and put on the piece of paper on his forehead. Yushiro had to carry him as he's not in a really good shape. They soon arrived back to the house where Tameo was waiting for them both. Yushiro, we're back. Tameo, oh my, Tanjiro-san. What happened to you? Tanjiro, I'm doing just fine. Don's worry about me. Still vomit after having said that. Yushiro, oh come on now. I've just moped the floor, damn it. Tameo, Yushiro, take Tanjiro-san inside the bathroom. I'll go get some medicine. Inside the bathroom, Tanjiro sticks his head on top of the toilet bowl and vomited large amount of liquids. They had to give him water to prevent from dehydration. After 3 hours of just him vomiting, he finally feel a lot better and were able to rest. Tameo, are you really okay, Tanjiro-san? We were worried for you. Yushiro, what happened to you? Where have you been this whole day? Tanjiro sat down on a chair and told them what happened to him the whole day. Apparently, his ability to keep a straight face when lying has its limits. When AI said she wanted to chit-chat a little, it was more towards police interrogating its suspect. They have asked a lot of questions regarding how he lived, what his occupation, where he was born, and he had to lie to each and every single question. After an hour of interrogation, he felt sick and had excused himself. Thank goodness they let him go. But after he took only 10 steps outside the mansion, he felt dizzy and vomited on the side of the road. This goes on until Yushiro had found him that night. Both Yushiro and Tameo nearly cracked a laugh but had to hold themselves in to preserve his feeling. Tanjiro decided to stay put for 3 days to recover his composure. How weird. Even for an immortal demon like him can get sick like a human would. Chapter 5, The Hunt. I have a really bad feelings about this. Looks like Master has been really busy since her first creation got annihilated in seconds. 2 demons who is serving directly under the descendant of the late demon lord. Haruka is watching the little girl working with chemicals and biotech to create the ultimate demon. The 2 test subjects she had sent out were indeed able to withstand the sun, but they were too bulky and slow to even fight the fast and agile hunter forces. You two, come here for a sec. The girl called upon her 2 servant. Yes, Haruka-sama, what can we do for you today? The demon responded. I have an important task for both of you, the girl said in a serious voice tone. What is it? I did some research of my own, and apparently the person who defeated my father has gone missing. But it's already been a year since then. One of them spoke. Why was it relevant to us, Haruka-sama? The fact that person has defeated my father is one thing, but another thing that piqued my interest or his body were never recovered. Where are you going with this? Think of it for a sec. If he's alive, wouldn't he be hunting demons? But the corp never found him even after a year. I still don't get it, Haruka-sama. Coincidentally, you've said about a rumor a demon swordsman had been hunting our kind lately. Do you get where I'm going here? Oh, so the swordsman is the person who defeated your father. Am I correct, miss? Precisely. Go and find him. Bring him to me, my 2 fellow loyal servant. Right away, miss. Both shouted in unison. The 2 servants rushed out of the room seemingly excited, leaving her alone in her lab. The child looked over at her lab equipments filled with various liquids. With his blood and my father's blood within him, my creation will be invincible against any opponent. It will be the ultimate killing machine. Wahahaha, ahahaha. She laughs maniacally. Tanjiro-san, are you going out again? Tameo asked the red-hair man. I will be back before you know it. Tanjiro kindly replied back. Don't be having some funny business when you're out there, cause I will not go out just to fetch you again. A young man blurted. Of course, Yushiro-san. I'm just going to visit the HQ, that's all. He reassured them. After wearing his usual disguise, he went out on the street and head towards the direction of the Corp HQ. Every day, he would check the place to snoop some info whenever there was a meeting. Since the meeting usually happened at the same time, every time like clockwork, he arrived early each time to see if there's any meetings happening on that day. And sure enough, minutes after his first arrivals, people started to show up. He usually hid himself in between 2 rafters just above the meeting area. They may not see him, but he sure can see and hear their conversation as clear as day. As the time goes by, more and more people he knew shows up. Oi, Benjitsu, come and fight me. A man with a boar head shouted. Would you stop that already, Inosuke? We're not a child anymore. A man with familiar yellow hair cried out. You two are literally destroying our image as a Hashira. A man with a mohawk-style hair said. Well, just you alone would be enough to do that as well, Genya. A woman with 2 blue butterfly hairpin teased. Alwa, don't be that harsh, Ai-san. He's an okay person, right, Kanao-san? A girl with pink ribbon on her hair asking for a second opinion. The girl with a butterfly-patterned Hiyori just stayed silent the whole time, ignoring her colleague. Tanjiro looking over his former colleague, feeling nostalgic by their never-changing behavior. Just like how he first met them. He even has to resist the urge to jump down to be with them or bad things will happen. After a few more minutes of waiting, the leader of the corp have arrived. The chaos that was happening before had abruptly grind to a halt, and they all got on one of their knees to pay for their respect. Tanjiro also did it on the rooftop but immediately lay down after a few seconds to avoid detection. Greetings, my fellow hunters. The weather seems good today, isn't it? The leader spoke. Greeting to you as well, Kiryu-sama. I hope to extend my greetings to my fellow colleagues as well. Inosuke spoke with a soft tone. It was unusual to see Inosuke to behave like this. He would usually be the most energetic and wild person you will ever met. But when he's in front of someone more superior than him, he'll change from a wild beast to a tamed boar. Kiryu, thank you, Beast Hashira. Now today, I have some things I wanted to discuss. Oh, hi. Kiryu, so as most of you know, we have found out that demons are no longer weak to the sun. Some are and some aren't, but they'll still die to the Nichiren blade, so we still can defeat them. However, it may not took them that long before that will become useless. Therefore, we will be doubling our effort on hunting these demons down. Genya, I agree with your wise decision, Kiryu-sama. Excuse me, Kiryu-sama. I would like to make a proposition to this matter. Kiryu, right, go ahead. I would like to request so that we capture the new one so that we can study its weakness and behavior. Kiryu, good idea. You can go ahead and execute your plan, AI-san. Just be careful while you're at it. AI, thank you, Kiryu-sama. Kiryu, right, moving on. There were some news that a mysterious swordsman is hunting demons like us. He's not an official hunter, but he was said to be wearing our uniform. Zenitsu, maybe that person was retired from the corp. Inosuke, but why risking your life if you're retired? Nezuko, for vengeance maybe. They were arguing among themselves about who this mysterious swordsman is, but Tanjiro thinks he already knew the answer. As the argument got more intense, Kiryu lifted his index finger and put it on his lips, signaling them for silence. And that's exactly what happened. Kiryu, we don't know who that swordsman might be, but according to some witness reports, he managed to hunt down 100 demons in a single night. Zenitsu, 100. Nezuko, so many. Genya, in one night. Kiryu, another info said he was seen with a blue scarf covering half his face. AI, wait, blue scarf. Could it be? She thought. Kiryu, so I wanted to task all of you. If you've seen this swordsman, I wanted you to escort him here. I wanted to talk to this man for a bit. Can I rely you all with this heavy task? Oh, hi. Kiryu-sama. Kiryu, good. And that's the end of today's meeting. You are all dismissed. By the time Kiryu had ended the meeting, Tanjiro is already long gone from his hiding spot. He can't risk it anymore. He can't be caught, not just yet. Unbeknownst to him, the Demon Slayer Corp is not the only one looking for him. The demons are eager to find him as soon as possible. It's a major hide-and-seek game where both seeker are no good for him. Aw, welcome back, Tanjiro-san. Are you alright? What's the matter? Did they saw you? Both the lady and the young man are in shock seeing him back so early. Tanjiro has fears in his eyes and he must hide from both sides of the ring. He looked at the woman with a clear regret in his eyes. Tanjiro, Tameo-san, please forgive me. Tameo, what's the matter, Tanjiro-san? Tanjiro, I gave myself away too much. Now they're on to me. Tameo, oh my. Tanjiro, I must leave this place as soon as possible. I'll be back to check on you two from time to time. Tameo, okay Tanjiro-san. This may not help much, but I already have enough ingredient for the antidote. But it will take at least 3 years before it could be fully synthesis. Tanjiro, that's fine. Thank you Tameo-san for your hard work. Ishiro, alright bud. Your problem is even worse than you thought. One of the crows spotted 2 demons trying to search for you. How much did you give yourselves away, huh? Tanjiro, what? Oh no, I must leave now. Knock knock. Ishiro, oh shoot. Tanjiro, they found me. Tameo, Tanjiro, go and hide in the attic. Ishiro, leave the rest to us. Tanjiro, thank you so much. Tanjiro ran upstairs and climbed up into the attic of the 2-story house. Meanwhile, Tameo waited inside a room right in front of the entrance while Ishiro hid himself behind the main door to answer it. He opened it slightly to avoid the sunlight. Yes, who is this? Ishiro changed his voice. We are from the Demon Slayer Corp. We have suspected that a wanted person have been seen entering this house just a few minutes ago. Would you mind letting us in? Please wait for a moment. He replied and closed the door. He took out a test tube containing some sort of liquid and drank it. It's a drug designed specifically for this situation. It gave him immunity to the sun in a short period of time and also changes his facial feature to look more like a human. He knocked on the door to Tameo's room to signal for her to do the same. He went back to the door and opened it up, revealing a squad of hunters with a lady being the leader. Excuse us sir for the intrusion. My name is Kanzaki Aoi. May we enter your house? Yes, of course. Come on in Miss Kanzaki. Make yourself at home. The squad entered the house and immediately searched around the rooms. Thankfully, nobody knew who Yushiro and Tameo is, but they definitely knew Tanjiro though. While Tameo tried to distract them, Yushiro went upstairs to warn Tanjiro of their presence. But Tanjiro was already gone before he even got the chance. Now they just need to deal with the hunters downstairs. Tanjiro POV. That was seriously close. As soon as I heard it was the corp, I jumped down from the roof into the backyard and escaped from there. At this point, I don't know where to go. I don't have anyone who I can trust to stay with. Unless he's the only one, I guess. Still in the city where they are looking for me, I had no choice but to take shelter with the old man. I entered the same restaurant I had been to a few days ago and went straight to the 2nd floor. I tried my best to avoid people from looking at me. I knocked on the door and sure enough, he was there. Tanjiro-san, you've came again. Want another bite I suppose? He said to me. I'm sorry for abruptly came here without notice, but I really do need your help. What's the matter? Why do you look so worried? I closed the door and explained to him what happened during the few days I was gone and how serious my situation is. But he seemed to be more confused than understanding what I'm saying to him. I don't get it. They're looking for you, in which means is a good thing, right? No, it's not. Not until I get the antidote. I can't reveal myself. I urge him. Well, if you're asking me, I wouldn't run but instead just go back from day one I was alive. If you don't want to help me then fine. I'm sorry for asking too much of you. Please forget that you've seen me, Toyo-san. Well, I'm sorry for not being able to help you. But I also am sorry for not telling you to go to my house in the mountain and hide there instead. I stopped my step out the door to look at the man in front of me putting a key on his desk. I came back and took the key from his desk. Thank you so much, Toyo-san. I will repay you someday. You already did, Tanjiro. This is my turn to repay for what you did for me. Now go, before they notice you are here. Right, I will see you around, Toyo-san. I bid my farewell to the man who helped me with my food supplies over the year, and it was very nice of him to even help me in this situation I'm in. I immediately head out of town and followed the map that was attached on the key. Just before sunsets, I finally found the house he was talking about. It was just a small house, but it was just what I needed right now. I opened the door and discovered how dusty it is inside. It was only one big room with some smaller rooms in the back. I first cleansed the house and it was a breeze since I have more than two hands unlike normal people. After that, I took out the futon that had been stored inside one of the closet and set it out. I wasn't feeling hungry considering what I've experienced this whole day. I just wanted to lay down and just sleep, hoping my problems would go away the next time I woke up. End of POV. What do you mean you've lost him? He disappeared the moment you all exited the house. You've been given one simple task, and yet you failed. So what now, AI? We proceed to capture one of the new demon. She sighed. What about Takagi-san? We'll meet him sooner or later. Let's go, Kanao. After their infiltration inside one of the house has failed miserably, they move their focus onto another objective. To capture and study the demons that can withstand the sun. They use the Crow intricate communication network to search for a demon nearby. It didn't took them long to find one just half an hour away. They waste no time and started running at full speed. When they got there, sure enough it's the same one that had attacked them a few days prior. There were already several hunters on site trying to slash its neck multiple times, but none have succeeded in doing so yet. The two Hashira jumps in and intervene with the battle. Flower breathing, fifth form, peonies of futility. Kanao puts in multiple slashes onto the demon's body, disabling its capability for movement. AI then jumps in with a syringe in hand and injects its contents into the demon. In an instant, the demon was neutralized and can't harm them in its null states. What are we waiting for? Finish the thing. A hunter shouted. Not this one, you don't. You're all dismissed. All of the hunters left with a grudge against her because they were fighting like hell, but they came and basically said let it live. They took the nullified demon back to the estate to analyze its behavior and its blood content. After the great battle, AI started to train herself in combat and learned the craft of medicines and herbs. This made her one of the best, and she climbed up the rank in just 3 months since the great battle. AI, interesting. The blood contains some foreign cells. This is probably what makes this demon immune to the sun. I need some time to study it. In the meantime, Kanao. AI, I want you to go and meet Genya in the mountains. He said he wanted to show you something. Kanao, what was it? AI, I'm sorry, even I don't know myself. Just go and meet him and you'll know. Kanao, alright AI, I'll be back soon. Kanao left the estate heading towards the mountain where Genya live at. It was already nighttime and she was supposed to be patrolling for demons. Well, at least she's still patrolling, but with a partner tonight. She arrived at the place where it used to be the late former stone pillar house. In honor of the deceased, Genya decided to live here to preserve his home. Genya, oh hey Kanao, you're here. Kanao, Genya, nice to meet you too. Still as quiet as ever, eh? Kanao, Genya, no worries, I understand. You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to, but I have something to show you. Follow me. Ever since the great battle, Kanao had become emotionless after losing everyone she loved. All that's left for her was AI and the 3 little girls at the mansion. She would only talk to them while being cold towards others. Genya lead the quiet woman towards a valley where the forest suddenly ends as all of the trees are cut down from one end to the other end of the valley. Kanao, Genya, I've found this when I was training. All of the tree are cleanly cut on the base, leaving only a bunch of stumps. Kanao, she's looking around the area. Genya, there's also a river down here and not far from it. I found something on one of the tree stump. Genya reached into one of his belt bag that he used to carry ammo for his gun and pulled out a little bag. It has some sort of a rectangle-shaped object inside it. At first, Kanao only looked at the bag with no interest whatsoever, but the moment Genya slid out its content, her eyes immediately widens to see a familiar pattern in his hand. Genya recognized this thing. Kanao, what is this? How? Genya, this may be the closest thing we can find that's related to him. I thought I wanted to show you this. Kanao, it's his earrings. Tanjiro's earrings. Genya, come with me Kanao. I'll show you where I found it. They walk over to a specific tree stump among a million other tree stump not far from the flowing river. A clear stab mark on the tree stump stands out from the other's tree stump, making them questioned. Who did all of this? The area that was affected was only in that one specific area around that one tree stump they looked down upon. Genya, I thought there is maybe a possibility for him to be. Kanao, Tanjiro is alive this whole time. Genya, although if he is alive, why didn't he came back? Kanao, he must have his own reasoning for it. He's out there somewhere. Genya, or maybe he's completely different. During the final battle, he got engulfed by Muzan. Maybe his. Genya didn't finish his sentence because even he don't want for it to be true. The thought of someone else controlling the body of the one most important to them. It was the worst nightmare they could have asked for. They're hoping for it not to become true, but evidences that surrounds them pointed towards the other direction. Genya, I'm not saying that this is bad, but one thing is for sure. We will meet him one way or the other. Kanao, Tanjiro. Just hearing the possibility that you're still alive, even if it's just a slither chance in hell, it was enough to make me hopeful yet again. Genya, here, you should take it. I thought no other person should hold on to this other than you. Kanao, thank you, Genya, for everything. Genya, no problem. Friends stick together till the end, right? Also, would you mind doing me a favor? Kanao, what was it? Genya, could you tell this to his sister? I wanted to do it myself, but you know me around women, right? Kanao, sure, Genya. I will relay the news to her myself. After staying at the mysterious place for a while, they finally separated and went on their own way. But both are still patrolling for demons until morning comes. Tanjiro, father, is that you? Come here Tanjiro, let's have a talk. Tanjiro was standing in front of his old house. A figure he called as his father is sitting on the side porch. He was wearing a black and orange checker patterned haori similar to Tanjiro's. He, on the other hand, was still wearing his uniform and still has the mark on his forehead. He walked over to the porch and sat down right next to his father. Father, Tanjiro stuttered. It's been a long time Tanjiro. Why don't you tell me what happened in my absence? Tanjiro's body slumped down and he looked down on the ground. He felt like he doesn't know what to tell him. He became the very thing he hates. He was being hunted by both sides. Heck, he doesn't even know will the antidote work for him. While he was deep in thought, his father hugged him by his side. My son, everything is gonna be fine. Father, I can't say it, but my life has been cruel to me. Just when I thought it was over, another curveball came right towards me. I just can't, father. Tanjiro cries out. Son, life may throw you a curveball, but that's why you have to hit it no matter what. One day, you'll understand everything that's happening around you has a reason behind it. Father, I really miss you so much. Tanjiro hugged his father. Do what you believe is right. When the time comes, all the fog will be lifted and you can see more clearly. Be what you firmly believe who you are. Father, it's time for me to go, my son. No, wait. Please stay with me. Tanjiro pleaded. Remember Tanjiro, I will always look at you from above. Father, wait. For a glimpse, his vision went bright and the next thing he saw was himself on the futon breathing heavily. He looked around to see it was still nighttime. Was it all just a dream? It felt so real. He thought to himself. He looked stumped for a good few minutes when he realizes that his stomach is telling him to eat. Because he's a demon, he must obey his stomach or he will go berserk. He still remembers when the first time he woke up as a demon, he had massacred all of the animals and fishes in the forest he woke up on. His hunt for food coincidentally had cut down all the tree in the area as well. At least he knows that he doesn't need to consume human in order to feed himself. He went out and searched the mountain for any vegetable or meat that he could eat. He found a river with some fish swimming in it. He decided to go fishing and caught all fish with his 2 bare hands along with 6 of them getting pierced by his tentacle on his back. He went back to the house and make himself some grilled fish. He ate with some water on the side and that should be enough for him to last till morning. Crunch, just as he was finishing his meal, he heard some dried leaves on the ground getting stepped on. His instinct immediately tells him to hide. The main door suddenly opened with a bunch of people on the door frame. They all stepped inside looking at the surrounding inside the house. Unbeknownst to them, Tanjiro was just hiding inside the ceiling as there were no easy way out. TCH, looks like we've lost him, one of them said. Not exactly. There's only one door and all the windows are still closed. He must still be here, one of them deduced. But where? As they were thinking where he could be hiding, one of them looked up and stared at the ceiling where Tanjiro was hiding. Up there. Oh shoot. Tanjiro panicked. All of you, capture the fugitive. The instant the commands came in, hundreds of them surges inside trying to get into the ceiling. Out of desperation, Tanjiro had to cut out the roof in order to escape. He jumped out and landed on the front yard. It would appear that they weren't the hunters. Instead, it's the demons Yushiro were talking about. He thought. Ah, there you are. The demon servant said. Who are you? Who sent for you? Tanjiro questioned them. Our master requested for your present in front of her, and we're here to escort you to her. And what if I refuse, huh? Tanjiro fought back. Well, we have no choice but to forcefully restrain you. So choose the easy way or the ultra-hard way. How about your death? Was that an option? Tanjiro threatens. Capture him. The hundreds of demons that was inside the house came surging in a tsunami, all targeting Tanjiro. Tanjiro, however, remained still and started his focused breathing. The atmosphere suddenly changed around him, but this didn't stop the big wave of demons charging towards him. Water breathing, 11th form, improved, death zone. The waves of demons came surging directly towards him, but none have survived. It was like an invisible line was drawn, and whoever shall pass will die. All of the demons were dead in mere seconds, with Tanjiro standing at the same spot. Tanjiro shifted his focus towards the two demons who leads these fools of a demon hunt. Realizing that they have no chance winning against him, they started to run away like the cowards they are. But Tanjiro was faster than them. In a blink of an eye, he had pinned both of them down on the ground with his blade pointing towards them. So fast, both of them thought. Would you mind telling me who are you exactly? Tanjiro said in a threatening voice. We were just supposed to escort you. Yeah, we're just humble servants to our master. Who is this master of yours? Listen, she was doing some crazy stuff back there. If you don't come back with us, maybe next time, it will be harder for you. The demon tried to explain. Yeah, she's creating an indestructible army. The other demon blurted out. You shouldn't tell him that. The main demon hit the other demon. An army, eh? Then tell where is your master, or your life will end right here, fellas. Maybe next time we meet ain't gonna be so easy. See you later, Kamado Tanjiro. How did you? Tanjiro surprised. Blood demon art, blood haste. Both demons suddenly disappeared from his sight. He can't sense them around the area, but that would probably because the mountain of dead bodies that are still disintegrating into ash right behind him. He looked back at the house he was staying in, and the interior was destroyed. To give respect to the owner of the house, he tried to fix everything that he can, but some are not fixable, and had to be replaced, in which he has no time to do. He left a note of apologies on the door. As soon as dawn breaks, he's gone with no trace left at the house. Chapter 6, The News. Nezuko-chan. Zenitsu-san. Please stop doing that. Awa. But this is the only time when we get to be together. Zenitsu-san. I need to focus. At a house somewhere in a mountain, two individuals were seen to be living there. One of them had a long yellow hair tied up into a ponytail on the back of his head, wearing a triangle pattern haori with half being black and the other half being yellow. The yellow one are the one given to him by his late master, who taught him the thunder breathing style. The black one, however, are also from his master, but was originally given to Kaigaku, in which he considered him as a stepbrother who had unfortunately turned into a demon. After he had defeated him, he found the haori that was given to him and decided to wear it in memory of his late stepbrother. The other person was a girl with a pink strip of ribbon tied onto her hair. She was wearing a flowery patterned haori inspired by her kimono she used to wear. She wore the standard issued female uniform except for a just below knee-high skirt replacing the usual hakama pants. She was the eldest sister in her family and the sister of Kamado Tanjiro. She herself had become a demon but never ate a single human being. After being turned back, she ran to save her brother, but it was too late. She now lived at her parents' house with the Beast Pillar and the Thunder Pillar, aka Zenitsu. Nezuko-chan. What do you want, Zenitsu-san? Please marry me. You've said that many times already, and the answer is still no, she replied. Why? Because if we're married, then hunting demons became harder, and to lose you will make me sad. Do you want to make your wife sad, Zenitsu-san? Wait, you said my wife, right? He snickered. Will you or will you not? Of course I will make my wife one of the happiest person in the world 1,000 times over. He replied. I'm glad you never change ever since the day I first met you. As a demon, or I barely remember it, but I can still hear your crying at night. Oh, don't be like that. Nezuko-chan. Ah, looks like someone is here, she said. As the both of them are messing around, they noticed a figure ascending in the snowy mountain towards them. From afar, it was already clear who it is, with a distinctive butterfly haori and a purple butterfly hairpin. Nezuko, hello there, Kanao-san. Seems like you've came to pay a visit. Kanao, greetings Nezuko-san. Do you have a moment? Zenitsu, you spoke to us. That's rare. Nezuko, sure. Zenitsu-san, if you could please gather some wood for the stove. Zenitsu, sure thing Nezuko-chan. I'll be going now. Nezuko, now that he's gone, why don't we go inside? Kanao just nodded and they both went inside the house. It may be small but the main room is quite spacious. They sat in the center of the room facing each other. Nezuko, so, what brings you here, Kanao-san? Kanao, I've came to relay a news to you. Nezuko, oh, that sounds interesting. I haven't got any news in a long time now. Kanao, actually, Genya said that he wanted to personally tell you but asked me to do it instead. Nezuko, is that so? What's the news then? Kanao, we found him. Nezuko, found who? Kanao, Tanjiro. We found where he was washed away to. Nezuko, ah, so. Door slams open. Zenitsu, did someone said Tanjiro has been found? Kanao, wow, you look exhausted, Zenitsu. Are you alright? Zenitsu, no worries. Running 3 kilometers uphill is nothing. Nezuko, would you mind continue, Kanao-san? Kanao, ah, of course. The good news, we've found where he landed ashore. But the bad news are his body is nowhere to be seen. Zenitsu, is it stolen perhaps? Or got eaten by the animals? Nezuko, don't say it like that, Zenitsu-san. Kanao, no, it's fine. Actually, Genya first looked around and found this, and I wanted to give it to you, Nezuko-san. Kanao pulled the bag Genya had given to her and slid out its content into her hand. She handed it out to Nezuko, who is frozen in time seeing her father's earrings worn by her brother. Zenitsu sat down next to them to get a closer look, and sure enough a wave of memories rushed in whenever he sees this unique earrings. Kanao just sat there with a smile. Nezuko, just how? Where? Zenitsu, actually, why was this found but not the body? Kanao, this was found on a tree stump. Just to clarify, all of the trees surrounding this one is all chopped down. Nezuko, that was sad. Those poor trees. Zenitsu, wait, just a few trees or? Kanao, all the trees in a 5 kilometers radius. Zenitsu, goddamn. Who would do such a thing? Kanao, indeed. And also, we have reason to believe that. Nezuko, that. Kanao, that Tanjiro is still alive. As soon as they heard that sentence, both Zenitsu and Nezuko pour out tears of joy and a smile. But Kanao on the other hand was looking a little sad. They noticed it and wonder what was wrong, consider she should be the happiest one when the news was told. Nezuko, Kanao-san, is there something wrong? Kanao, what do you mean? Zenitsu, your sound is telling me that you're sad for some reason. Can you tell us why? Kanao, do you remember when you asked about why was this found and not the body? Even though he would never leave this behind. Zenitsu, I know. Don't tell me that. It's still Tanjiro, right? Nezuko, what do you mean, Kanao-san? Kanao, when we were fighting, Tanjiro was swallowed by that monster. As a result, there's a high chance that he was inside his body. Kanao was stuttering those words out, having some hard times to convey it. After that reality hit them, Nezuko and Zenitsu break into tears of sorrow, knowing that the man they used to know was gone but his body was manipulated by that monster, Muzan. They all cried together in the house for some time. But then, duty calls for them. An emergency meeting will be held. All pillars must be present. The crow cries out. Looks like duty calls. Zenitsu said. Well, let's get ready and head there together, shall we? Nezuko asked. Yeah, sure. Nezuko-san. Kanao responded. I have a really bad feelings. How should we tell her? Both of you have returned at last. Come and sit down, please. The girl still sat on her lab stool doing something on her desk. The 2 demon servants slowly walked over, terrified for their own life. They can feel the aura of anger emitting from the little girl's body. They sat down in a couch behind her. She turns around to look at their terrified face. So, how was the task I've given to you? The girl asked. Gee, great actually. We have found him and he said he'll be on his way. Oh, really now? Do you both think I'm stupid or something? No. Good. Because before you two told me the lie, I have already known what had happened. Gulp, both servants getting nervous. Say, how many did you bring to apprehend him? 300 hundreds, all massacred in mere seconds. Do you know that brings us so close to being outnumbered by the hunters? The girl scolded. We're sorry. Don't be. Because you two still have to get him. But, he's too powerful. Even 300 demons aren't a problem to him. That's why I'm gonna give you this. The girl holds 2 test tubes. What was that? Your solution, darlings. Now drink it. Is it safe? Of course they are. Drink it or you'll never get him. Well, bottoms up. Both the demons drank hastily the content of the test tubes. At first, nothing happened. But in an instant, they felt immense pain and raw power surging through their body. Their body became bigger and more buff than before, and they grew a pair of horns on their heads. How does it feels? The girl asked. This feels ecstatic. I never felt so much power before. Thank you, Haruka-sama, for giving us a second chance. Now that you're 1,000 times stronger than before, it will take at least 3 pillars to take you down. Make sure you come back with my test subject. Right away, Haruka-sama. We will not fail you. The 2 servants rush out the room she was in. Even after the commotion, she continues with her experiments to create the ultimate demon killing machine. At the headquarters of the Demon Slayer Corp, everyone had gathered for the emergency meeting announcement made by the crows. They all wondered what was happening that requires all of them to be gathered at once. But minutes later, the person who bears the answer have arrived. Kiria, morning everybody. Today I have gathered you all for an important announcement. Zenitsu, excuse me, Oyakata-sama, what was so important that all of us had to be here? Nezuko, quiet please Zenitsu-san. Kiria, it's alright Nezuko-san. This morning, we have received a letter containing a warning of an incoming war. All war. Kiria, Kanata, the letter please. Kanata, right. This letter was sent by an unknown sender. I shall read it aloud for you. She pulled out a letter from her clothes and opened it up. The letter reads as follows. Dear Oyakata-sama, pardon for my intrusion and the lack of formality, but I wrote this letter to inform you of an incoming attack by the demons. I have my sources saying that they're creating an indestructible army to take down the corp, and I'm afraid the one that can withstand the sun are just a fraction of what comes next. Please heed to this warning and warn the pillars about the oncoming attacks in the near future. I myself will prepare to fight alongside you all. Best of regard. After she was finished reading the letter to them, all of the pillars began speculating on who this person might be. Maybe it's just a joker playing tricks on them, or maybe it was a real threat. They all were confused until Kiria opened his mouth to speak. Kiria, I believe I know what you're all thinking about. Genya, that all of this is just bullshit. Inosuke, those demons can't do shit. Now they want a war. Oh please. Kiria, I see you two have confidence. Great but not healthy I see. Now as we know, AI-san had been studying one of the said demons. Anything you want to share AI-san? AI, well, the demon I have been studying can withstand the sun but only for 2 hours max. After that, it had to seek shelter or it will burn. Zenitsu, so they're still not fully immune to the sun. AI, correct. Kiria, thank you for sharing AI-san. This shows us that whoever did this has the ability to manipulate a demon's body. Since Muzan is no more, the demons are having a hard time to spread their kinds among us. But they're still outnumbering us by a great number. Genya, but maybe. Kiria, yes Genya. Genya, never mind. Kiria, as I was saying. We need to act soon since we don't know when will it happen. And I propose that we will bring back the pillar training. Zenitsu, the pillar training. The one we did before the great battle. Inosuke, I think so. AI, how are we supposed to do that? Kiria, it's simple. You train people like you train your successor. I've even enlisted some help from the former pillars, Yuzui Tenjin, Shinazugawa Seinmi and Tomioka Jiyu. Nezuko, sounds like fun. Kiria, the training will begin by tomorrow. Expect a big crowd coming to your doorstep. Oh, hi. Kiria, and with that, you're all dismissed. I hope to see success from all of you my fellow hunters. Somewhere far away from civilization, a man was traveling alone hiding from both the Hunter Corp and the demons. After he's been ambushed 2 times now, he take great precautions to make sure he's untraceable. He hike up the highest mountain where the air is so thin, normal human would suffocate in an hour time. But for Tanjiro, he's been trained to breathe and use way less oxygen than an average human needs. Wow, it is really cold up here. I can feel my fingers getting numb. I'd better find a shelter, he thought. He wanders around the high mountain covered in snow always got hit by the sun. There were almost no clouds up there but it is surprisingly cold considering how direct the sun is hitting the mountain. He wandered for good solid hour before stopped to take a rest. Maybe I should go back to Wo, he screamed. As Tanjiro was about to sit on what looks to be a rock covered in snow, the snow beneath him suddenly gave away, and he fell into a big crevice inside the giant rock. He fell about 100 meters down inside what looks to be a spacious cavern. Where? Tanjiro whizzing for air. He sat up to see himself trapped inside a cavern with no other light source other than the sunlight piercing through the hole where he originally fell. He felt that he needed to get out but it would seem there are no easy way out. He looks around and found a long stick. He pulled out a piece of extra cloth he had and wrapped it around the stick and soaked it in oil. After a few sparks from his blades on the rocks, he managed to create a makeshift torch. Now, I need to find the way out of here, he said to himself. He explored the massive cavern looking in every nooks and crannies to search for possible exits. At last, he felt an air flow through one of the cracks. He took of his cloak and grew 6 arm blades from his back. In one quick motion, he cuts through the rocks and the wall collapsed and reveals an opening. But this one looks a little different. Finally a way out. But, weird. These walls are mined out. Probably miners came here for ores, he thought to himself. The wall was smooth like it was mined out, and that was further supported by the wooden supporting beam all across the passageways. But no signs of any equipment or human waste or anything indicating someone had been here. He went into the mine and walked into the dark abyss in front of him. His torch is burning out and he still can't find the end of the tunnel. Could it be that he's stuck in it forever? He thought. Then, a glimmers of hope. The passageway opens up into a massive hallway. On the side, he noticed a groove had been carved out and were covered in somewhat of a oily substance. Is this, sniff, kerosene? What is it doing here? He sniffed the substance on his fingers and recognized it as kerosene. He looked towards his flickering torch and immediately, he pieced the two things together. He lighted up the pool of kerosene inside the groove with his torch and it lit across the hallway and looped back around after a few seconds. He admires the scene and now he can see a drawing on the wall. It shows a person running away from something. Not long after that, he heard a cracking sound, like wooden beam that are snapping in half. He looked up and immediately realized what was it. Oh shoot, he shouted. He started to run down the fire-lit hallway. He looked back and saw the wooden beam getting crushed by a giant round boulder that was rolling straight towards him. Apparently, lighting up the fire line has triggered a trap, and in this case, run or get squashed. He ran as fast as possible, but the boulder is gaining momentum and are catching up to him. In the midst of panicking and running, he didn't realize a pit in his path and tripped himself into it. He lay flat in the shallow pit, just having the boulder rolling past above him. After a loud bang, he looked up to see the boulder had come to a dead stop. Wow, that was a close call, he thought. In the dimly lit hallway, he looked upon the wall. Deciphering it would take some time. He of course would need to find a way out. That's when he saw daylight in the hallway. A room, hidden behind a door. A slither of light penetrate through its cracks. He tried to open it by force, but it was no use. It was too heavy and he can't risk cutting it and cause the tunnel to collapse. There must be a way. These drawings must be meaning something. He thought again. Looks like he had no choice but to decipher the drawings, even if it took him days or years. At least, that's what he thought when he found a lever that said pull to open. He makes a disappointed face and pulled the lever. And of course, a mechanical noise ensues and sure enough, the door opens up. He enters the room and cannot believe his eyes. Out of all the things a room could contain, he didn't expect for this one. The what training now? The pillar training. Don't you know? No, I don't. Oh yeah, you're new I guess. Well, let me briefly explain it to you. Two hunters sat on a bench while resting for the day. After a long night of patrolling the area, they wanted to rest for the day, but not for long, as pillars training is right around the corner. Pillar training is like its name describe. A pillar will train you. In addition to the current pillar, the former surviving pillar is also brought in for their experience and expertise in the field. Each hunters will go around and train with one pillar at a time. Only if they pass it then they can move on to the next pillar in line. Why is it like that? The newbie asked. I don't know. I've been fighting demons since way before the great battle began, and let me tell you, you best hope that the new pillars are not that strict in training. The veteran warned. Caw, you two are to be going to the pillar training. Caw, now, both shouted in unison. No exception. Caw, the crow blurted. The pillar training occurs at different locations. Based on where the pillars lived, they'll be training there. Each has their own unique training regiment. The former pillar, Yuzui Tenjin, are responsible to train their basic stamina so that they could endure the other brutal training regiment. Both former pillar Jiu Tomioka and Shinazugawa Seimi are on the basic swords and fight training. They would spar with people, and even with some disability, the hunters are still having a hard time to pass their training. And that was just a warm-up. One of the place they'll be sent to after completing the basic training are the Kamaboko residents in the mountains. There will be 3 pillars awaiting for them. The first one will be the beast pillar, Inosuke Hashibira. He would make them run all around the cold snowy mountain. He didn't even give them time to rest. Come on, you weakling. Follow your boss, Inosuke shouted. When can we rest? A hunter said under heavy breathing. Resting are for the weak. Are you weak? No. They all shouted in unison. Good. Let's go around 100 times more. After they got the Inosuke seal of approval, the next one in line are the fire pillar, Kamado Nezuko. Her training are a bit chillax as her training are involving their breathing patterns. She taught them about the constant breathing technique in which a lot of Slayer didn't know of. It was basically doing a total concentration breathing for a long extended period of times. If they managed to hold it for a week, then they passed her training. She would usually cheer them on as they would run around and train as hard as they could to keep the breathing pattern for as long as they can. Kamado Nezuko, the fire Hashira. After they pass the breath training, they will face the final one of the 3, the thunder pillar, Agatsuma Zenitsu. his challenge. Well, let's see for ourselves, shall we? Ah, finally you've all made it here. Feeling good, Zenitsu calmly said. Pretty much, a hunter replied. What's next? Lifting a ton of weights, another hunter said. No, am not they cruel? He replied. Then what was it? A hunter irritated. Relax, it's not that hard. All you have to do is hit me just once and you'll pass, he said. Well, that sound easy enough. The hunter got excited. That's the spirit. Here, take this. He throws over a wooden bakken. Hey, what about you? The hunter questioned. You need it more than I do. Come at me with full force, he taunted. As per demand, the one single hunter came at him with all he's got. After all, he'll be gone once he hit this man. But the same man he was facing has a different vibe. His eyes are closed. Big mistake, the hunter thought. In a blink of an eye, it was over. Ugh, the hunter grunted on the ground. They all shouted. Ah, it would have seemed that he had beaten you, Zenitsu calmly said. What? The hunter said. Come on you all. Grab a stick and come at me. All at once, he challenged. All the hunters got up from their seat and grabbed a wooden bakken. They surrounded the yellow-haired man that has no weapon whatsoever. They charged at him and one by one, they got taken out so easily. 100 hunters, laying down exhausted by the sheer speed and force the man they're facing exerted. Zenitsu, however, just smiled looking over them. He's really hard to beat. That's the Thunder Pillar for ya. Come on guys, get up. We need to beat him if we're gonna get out of here. I agree with you. Hagatsuma Zenitsu, a man who has two sides. One side was his usual self, a fun and mature, sometimes cowardice person. But unlike most people, he has a second personality that only shows up when he's sleeping. The other side of him was a silent but lethal person who strikes fear into the hearts of the enemies. That second personality was his survival instinct honed to a higher level. Because he only mastered one out of the 6 form of thunder breathing. He had honed the one form to its limits and even managed to create a new form of his own. He's an average hunter when awake but a deadly predator when asleep. Agatsuma Zenitsu, the Thunder Hashira. After they're done training with the trio pillars, they move on to the next one. The next one is held at the Butterfly Mansion. For most, it would have been a blissful experience, just got to meet the 2 beautiful pillar that lived there. But for the one who had completed their training, they will disagree with them without a doubt. The first one they will meet are the water pillar, Kanzaki AI. She trains them for medical emergencies. She will literally teach them firsthand on how to do first aid and how to stitch an open wound with real injured people. Some may call it cruel, but rest assured that all of them survived. After a seal of approval from her, they move on to the next one. The silent flower pillar, Tsuyuri Kanao. She trains them in both reflex and lungs capacity as well as overall stamina. It was hell for them as each training either got them soaking wet, panting for air, or fainting on the ground out of exhaustion. Good thing they have had the knowledge of first aid beforehand. Only after they had beaten her in a final match against her, then they can move on to the last remaining pillar. Well, not exactly a pillar. The last pillar in line to train them are Shinazugawa Genya. If the name sounds familiar to you, that's because he's the brother of Shinazugawa Sanmei. He's an elite marksman as he can't use any breath style. He instead turns over to his trusty double-barrel shotgun for close quarters combats and his long-range sniper rifle made by himself. Each bullet he fires contains a dose of wisteria poison that will cripple a demon 10 times larger than him. If all else fails, he got himself a trusty wakizashi katana on his back just in case. Shinazugawa Genya, elite marksman. He lived in the mountains higher up than the Kamaboko squad, so it would take them some time to get there. But after getting there, he didn't let them rest and subjects them towards the hardest training yet. The strength endurance training. First, they will be sitting underneath an icy cold waterfall for a certain amount of time. If your balls ain't frozen, then you would wish to be dead already. After that, carrying 5 logs to the top of the mountain, both physically and mentally challenging for the normal bunch. And lastly, the hardest one of all, pushing the boulder across town. If you've made it thus far, then you're definitely a special one. But for the one that completed this challenge would be considered legendary, as only a few are known to be able to push a giant boulder across town. One of them are Genya. Even though he can't use breath, he has other means of doing it. He used what's known as repetitive action technique. This way, users are able to push a 10-ton boulder across the town. While they train, they can hear gunshot in the distance in some occasions, and it turns out it was Genya hunting for dinner. He's the nicest pillar out of all pillar, even with his tough exterior, but inside he's soft towards especially towards women, as it turns out. He gave more rest to the females than the males. Now all of this training did not go to vain though, as each pillar training they had completed, they're rewarded a pin, and if you collect all of them, a special pin will be given to commemorate all of your hard work. And because of this, all of the hunters are motivated to work towards the end goal, and receive the special pin. The pillar training did starting to pay off as more and more demons are exterminated and the hunter force's casualties are decreasing. So whenever the next war comes, they are ready for it. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through what if Tanjiro became overpowered Demon King. I hope you found it as intriguing and thought-provoking as we did. A big shout out to KnyNovel for crafting such a compelling story. Don't forget to check out their profile on Wattpad for more amazing works. The link is in the description below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Fanfic Fantasy for more fascinating explorations into the world of fanfiction and fantasy. Your support helps us create more content like this, and we're always excited to hear your thoughts and suggestions in the comments section. See you guys in the next video.